extra spooky and... fuck. I tried to do something different and fucked it up. Extra spooky... That was extra spooky, yes. Extra spooky greetings and salutations to you, and welcome to my sanctuary. I forgot my name. I forgot my name. I changed one thing and I can't do it. Extra spooky greetings and salutations to you. My name is Occult and welcome to my sanctuary. This is the special Halloween edition, which is done in collab with a bunch of other amazing channels. So this was a suggestion from Sunny's. Do check her channel out and check out all the other channels as well. So the other channels are Cat Lady Antigone, Jane Wilkes, who is, you know, if you don't know, I don't even know what you're doing on YouTube without knowing, and Nightmare Bliss. So I will put all the links down below and I will tag everyone in this video, and be sure to check them out, subscribe, like their videos. They're absolutely amazing, all of them, and I can't wait to see their videos. And to those of you new here, welcome. Great that you're joining on Halloween, and for everyone else supporting the channel, thank you so much again for all your support. And we're approaching 900 subscribers, which is amazing. And also I would like to mention, check out my Instagram. I will put it down here, and the link is always under all my videos, because that's not getting as much love. I haven't been super active on it, but I've been a bit sick in the last 2 weeks, so apologies for that. But yeah, do check it out please, and make sure to check all the other channels out as well. So I was thinking of what to do for this collab for quite some time, and I'm not the best person at DIY, but I did, sort of, kind of, at least make this. I mean, I bought the base for it and I did it up. So this is a spooky kakoshnik, which is a Russian or probably other Slavic headpiece, which is usually very traditional with lots of red and gold, but you know, this is Halloween, so obviously this is orange and black. So I will also put some footage of what I did with it at the end of the video, so do check it out if you're interested in that. But otherwise, I kept thinking about what to do, and then I remembered that not long ago we watched John Wick, and I don't know if you've seen it, it's with Keanu Reeves. There's 3 films and they're quite interesting, especially since he pretty much does all the stunts apparently himself and learned all the fight moves and everything, and it's quite an interesting film. However, the reason I thought of it was Halloween related in a way that there's a character mentioned in it coming from Slavic mythology, and especially it's around probably Russia and Poland, but also other Slavs have this character one way or another, and this character is Baba Yaga. Now, Baba Yaga is the nickname they use for John Wick, which is quite funny, because Baba Yaga was actually a female witch, and he looks nothing like her, and probably acts nothing like her as well. I think he more resembles another character, which I will also talk about in this video. And this is all a prelude to me telling you a classic, scary-ish Russian folktale, which is probably again shared throughout most of the Slavs in one form or another. So, Baba Yaga is a very old lady, God knows how old she is, nobody knows, usually portrayed as quite humped, slumped in the shoulders, very long nose. According to some versions, if she sleeps, her nose reaches the ceiling, lots of warts on the nose, and she moves around in the coolest vehicle of all time, with a mortar, and she has a pestle in it, which is the steering wheel, basically, of it. And she also has a broom, and that broom is just hanging on the side there, which she uses to sort of dust away her prints, not that she has any prints, but even the smell, basically, of her traveling like that. So Baba Yaga, sometimes, and the thing about Baba Yaga, you never know when you encounter Baba Yaga what mood she's in. Recently I read a really cool poem that, with Baba Yaga, you gotta be really careful. You don't know. If she's in a good mood, she will help you. If she's in a bad mood, well, she might eat you. You never know. Or she might trick you and you think she's in a good mood, but she'll send you to your death and you won't even know until it's, you know, there. The other amazing thing about Baba Yaga is she lives in also the coolest house. Not only does she have a cool vehicle, she has the coolest house ever, which is what we call an izba, which is an sort of proper village house, which is made out of full logs. And that thing is based on chicken legs. And not only are they chicken legs, they're actually live chicken legs. So what I mean by that, it can run, it can jump. I think on occasion it might even fly. I don't know how, because it doesn't have chicken wings or any kind of wings. But even when it doesn't fly, it can still run the hell away pretty fast. Now, how you reach Baba Yaga, you come up, and it says that house normally has no doors or windows or anything, and you have to knock somewhere and say, house, or izba, please turn your back to the woods and your face to me, because it's always facing the woods and has its back to all the visitors, and it turns around, and a door might appear, or it might not, we just don't know. But that is how you reach Baba Yaga. It's absolutely hilarious, but actually quite cool. So that is the character. So I don't know how on earth that's related to John Wick, who's meant to be from Belarus in this film originally, but like they would have probably the same fairy tale, obviously, but it's still like there's nothing resembling Baba Yaga in the character of John Wick. What he does, however, resemble is the character of Koschei. So, Koschei, the way he's like John Wick, is an immortal, basically. There is a trick to his death, which you'll have to wait for, because I'll tell you in the story that I tell. But basically, Koschei is pretty much immortal, again, very timeless, and he is basically like the devil in all the fairy tales. Everyone's afraid of him, and he's the god of evil, basically. Not the god of evil, but like the, I don't know, just some sort of spirit of all evil and winter, etc. He's also known to steal a lot of women. There are tales where he plans on marrying them and then they sort of tell him to go to hell and he turns them into stuff, or he just keeps them somewhere in various castles. So there's versions of what he does with them, but that's like a common trait. Also, usually in all these fairy tales, so these all the heroes in these fairy tales are challenged to beat him somehow, and then they have to find how to kill him, which is the tricky part, and somebody has to tell them how to do that. So, because it's from what I tell you, it's not gonna be apparent as hell. And so that kind of reminds me of John Wick. It's quite hard to beat him, and he's immortal, basically, because John Wick is kind of immortal. The guy just doesn't die. I mean, if you've seen the 3 films, you know what I mean. So, it's just... yeah, I don't know, but the only, I think, reference in pop culture to Koshchei was in all the Doctor Who series. It's not often mentioned, but apparently the first name of the master is Koshchei. So there you go, if you didn't know, go check it out, it's true, and I think it was obviously written off that, because where else would that weird word come from, right? So, with that knowledge in mind, be prepared to listen to this very, very long story. Grab some tea, coffee, a blanket, I don't know, and I will tell you the fairy tale of Princess Frog. It's probably better to say Tsarina Frog, but I think I'm gonna overload you with some terms here, so let's just keep it to Princess Frog. So, in some, let's call it kingdom, there lived a Tsar, and he had 3 sons. Now, the younger one was called Prince Ivan, and all of these sons came of marriage age, and the Tsar said, guys, you know, it's time, go get some wives. And they said, how do we do that? And he says, well, why don't you go and shoot out arrows, and wherever your arrow lands, there you will find your bride. So they go and do that. Now the first son shoots, and his arrow flies and flies and flies and flies into this big mansion, into the yard of this courtsman. And, you know, the guy's aristocratic, so nice job. So he's quite happy with that, so he marries the daughter. And the second son shoots his arrow, and it flies and flies and flies, and flies into a slightly, less fancy mansion, but it's the merchant, so he's also quite rich and renowned and all that, and he marries his daughter. But of course, the younger son, as you can tell, probably screws it up, as you do. So he shoots, and it lands into some swamp. So he walks and walks and walks to find the arrow, and of course, he finds a frog. And he wants to pretend like nothing happened, but it's a talking frog, as you do. And the frog says, Ivan, marry me and you won't be sorry. He's like, you're a frog, people will laugh and talk. It's like, no, Ivan, trust me. I am the bride for you. Like, seriously, this is fate. You can't really do anything here, so played the fate card right there, ladies. So, he takes the frog, brings it back. Everyone laughs and says, well, fate, arrow, father said, marry the frog. So he marries the frog. And then the interesting stuff starts. So the Tsar, you'd think he'd leave them alone after that, right? But no. The Tsar says, I want to check out the cooking skills of your wives. I want each of them to bake me an amazing bread by tomorrow. So all the sons walk off, and Ivan comes home, and he's very sad because he doesn't know that the frog can do such stuff. And she's like, why are you so sad, Ivan? And he said, well, this is what father asked, I don't know how we're gonna do it. And she's like, look, go to bed, don't worry about anything, I will sort it out, just have some rest, and I'll see you in the morning. So he goes to bed, and then suddenly, as soon as he falls asleep, she throws off her frog skin, turns into a beautiful princess called Vasilisa the Wise. Now there's a few Vasilisas. Some are beautiful, some are wise. Usually the wise ones are also beautiful, but there you go. So Vasilisa the Wise. And of course she's absolutely beautiful, and then she cooks this amazing bread, and suddenly she is helped out with all this magic as well, and she just does this whole thing, which in Russian is called karavai, but basically it's not just bread, it has you can build a whole city with dough kind of thing. So she does this amazing bread. So then of course she wakes him up, shows him the bread in the morning, and he's absolutely amazed, takes it to the palace, and the other wise didn't do as well. One just burnt it, the other one looked like crap, and of course here's Ivan with his amazing beautiful bread. So the Tsar throws out the burnt one, gives the other bread to the servants, and when he sees this bread, he's like, oh, a bread like this can only be eaten at an amazing feast. So then the Tsar doesn't let him rest. No, he doesn't. He says, I want to know if your wives can sew or do crafts. So I want them to make me an amazing, beautiful shirt. So again, they all go home and tell their wives, and the frog says, Ivan, why are you so sad? I said, well, I'm sad because we got this task, how are we gonna do this? And she said, look, just go to bed, have some rest, I will sort it out. And again, he falls asleep, she throws off the frog skin, turns into a beautiful princess, and sews the most magnificent, beautiful shirt with gold thread and pearls and all sorts of gems, and it's absolutely beautiful, the most beautiful thing ever. And he wakes up, sees the shirt, he's amazed, takes it to the palace, and of course the other wives don't do as well. So one wife basically did the sleeves that were uneven, and the other one just couldn't design it properly, and they just looked terrible. And the Tsar throws one out and again gives the other one to his servants, and it's a bad look. But of course when he sees Vasilisa's handiwork, he says, well, that shirt can only be worn on great holidays. So again, they win. So then the Tsar says, look, after all this work, I think we deserve some rest. Let's all have a great feast, and I expect you sons with your wives tomorrow at the feast. Ivan comes home again, and he's very sad. And the frog asks, why are you so sad, my husband? And he says, well, how are we gonna go to the feast? It's going to look really silly. She says, look, go to bed, it'll be great, you'll be fine, and I will sort it out. So then when it comes time to go to the feast, she lets him go first, and then she says, look, when you hear lots of noise and racket, just say, ah, that's my frog and her box coming, and then I will appear. So he does that, he goes to the feast, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting, and all the other wives are all fancy and dressed up, and they're saying, Ivan, where's your frog? And everyone laughs, and then suddenly he hears all this racket and noise, and says, ah, that's my frog and her box. So there was so much noise that everyone ran to the windows to see, and they saw the most beautiful golden carriage with the most beautiful horses, and then steps out this absolutely amazing woman because she took her human form. It's a spectacle. Everyone's amazed, and she comes in, and they sit by the table. And when she sits at the table, when she drinks, she pours some of the wine into her sleeve and puts some of the chicken bones into the other sleeve. And the other wives are trying to do the same, even though they don't know why, but she's just so miraculous they want to copy everything she does. And during the dance, when Vasilisa waved her left arm, suddenly a beautiful lake appeared, and when she waved her right arm, beautiful swans appeared on the lake, and when her dance finished, it was all gone. When the wives tried to do the same thing, they poured wine all over the guests, and they nearly hit the Tsar with the bones in his eye. So he was quite cross with them, and actually stopped the feast, and everyone was very upset. But when the Tsar kicked everyone out, Vasilisa couldn't find Ivan. So she was trying to find him, and then she realized he must have gone home. And when she got home, she realized what had happened. He burnt the skin, so she stays in her human form forever. But apparently that was a mistake. She said, Ivan, what have you done? You had 3 days left, and then I would have remained like this anyway. Now I have to go to Koschei, and there is no way you can find me until you've worn out 3 pairs of iron boots and eaten 3 loaves of iron bread, and it's too far away, and you will never find me now. Then Vasilisa turned into a white swan and flew away. Ivan was very sad, but yet he got all his weapons, got his horse, and set off trying to find her, not knowing even where to go. Then he saw an old man, so he said hi to him, and the old man replied, hello there, fellow, where are you going? And he said, well, I'm Prince Ivan, and told him what happened. And the old man said, why did you burn the skin? She would have been yours anyway. Apparently, the story was that she was Koschei's daughter, and she did something he didn't like, so he turned her into a frog for 3 years, and those 3 years were almost up. The old man gave him a ball of yarn and said, wherever that goes you follow, and that way you will find her without, having to eat iron bread, because that's probably yucky. So the ball of yarn did start rolling, so Ivan followed it, and then he came across a bear. He wanted to kill the bear, but the bear begged for his life and said, Ivan, don't kill me, I will be useful to you. So Ivan let him go. Then Ivan found a duck, and he was kind of hungry, so he wanted to hunt the duck to eat, but then the duck again spoke to him and said, please don't kill me, you will make use of me, please let me go. So he let it go. And then he went on, and then he tried to do some fishing, and then he encountered a perch, and yet again he let the perch go because that also wanted to, stay alive and said it would be useful. And a similar thing happened with the rabbit, so Ivan was very hungry, but he let a lot of animals go. The ball of yarn ended up leading Ivan through some forest. And of course, where do you think it went? It went to a little house on chicken legs. Well, Ivan knew what this was, because, everyone does, so he knocked on it and said, hey, house, can you please turn with your back to the woods and your front to me? So it did. And there, he found Baba Yaga, who was, guess in which mood, she was actually okay. So he got lucky there. And he told her what happened, and she said, ha, Koschei, you want to take on Koschei, you can't kill him. You can't kill him with a sword, you can't kill him with a bullet, you can't kill him with an arrow. The guy is almost immortal. And he said, what do you mean almost immortal? She said, ha, I will tell you, write this down. His death is in the tip of a needle, which is inside an egg The egg is inside a duck, the duck is inside the rabbit is inside an iron chest, and that chest is sitting in an old oak tree in the middle of a very, very deep and very, very dark, probably black metal in Norway kind of dark forest, full of fog. You go there and you find it. So Baba Yaga also told him how to get to the oak tree, but it wasn't simple. He had to go through the most thick forests and the most horrible swamps and risked his life every day. And then finally, he came to that huge, unmistakable oak tree with the chest. He didn't know how to get that chest. And then he thought, oh, God, if only that bear was here, that would really help. And suddenly, the bear appears and gets the chest for him. But when climbing down with the chest, the bear drops it. The chest falls down, breaks into multiple pieces, and then suddenly the rabbit escapes. And he thought, God, I wish that other rabbit was here, maybe he can catch this one. And his rabbit friend appears and catches this other rabbit and manages to kill him. And then the duck escapes and he thinks, where is that duck? And the duck appears and helps him and kills that other duck, gets the egg, drops it into the sea. And of course he thinks, well, if a perch was here, it would help me get the egg and get that needle. So of course the perch appears, finds the egg, gives him the needle. And then there's another 3 hours, just kidding. And then he gets the needle, he breaks off the tip and then breaks it, and Koshchei dies. Vasilisa appears, and, get this, they live happily ever after. So, if you survived that very, very, very long story, well done, but this is what Russian fairy tales are like. I think most fairy tales are like this though, because they're usually aimed at children and there's whole bits of, various principles, because they're repetitive so that children remember them better, and that's why you have all these multiple things in them, and also they have a lot of morals and a lot of tradition in them and things like that, and teaching you, to respect your elders or whatever and not to run off into the forest, because we have a lot of stories about bears in forests just for that reason. And yeah, so there's quite a few things in it, and that's just a very, very, very actual typical fairy tale. And I don't know how other people do it, but we read this from a very early age, starting even before kindergarten, and we read it all through kindergarten, and then we read it through school. And actually in school, most of the things you would have in your ABCs in school would be stuff referring to all the fairy tales. So the more you read to your kids before school, the more school will be easier for them, because they will know all these stories. You'd think they're very archaic, but this is an everyday thing. We still have cartoons based on them, we have films based on them. They're a cornerstone of culture, which is sort of passed on and on and on. Even nobody lives in a forest anymore. Well, some people do. And although most people are like urban and this and that and don't even know, how the hell to get water out of a river, but the fairy tales are still quite prominent in everyday life through basic schooling. So thank you if you've survived the video, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing Halloween. Yet again, be sure to check out all the channels. Thank you, Sunny, so much for letting me do this, and for all the other amazing people who are involved. I will tag everyone, because there's quite a number of people, so I will tag everyone in this video and put all of their channels down below. Go check them out, they're absolutely amazing. So thank you once again, and yeah, I'll put it all down below. Have a pleasant time of day wherever you are. Keep on watching to see my awkward attempts to do that, and greetings and salutations to you. So, I'm about to do this, and I'm kind of sick, so my voice is kind of bad, but anyway. So I got this glue, I got some cotton buds, and I got this thing here, which I'm gonna put the glue in, and then dip the cotton buds in it. And then I'm gonna take my kakoshnik and put this lacy bit thing around this edge there, and then it will hopefully be finished. Also, I got these super cute earrings for this look, and look how it matches. It's just absolutely perfect. So I'm not quite entirely sure what the rest of the look is, but hopefully it will be really cool. And how cool is this mug? I love it. And it's really big. It's like for 500 milliliters or something, like half a liter. Really, really cool. So